It's here, guys. It's here on the tractor trailer with a lift gate, so we're gonna get it out and see how it's created. How's it going?
Alright, howdy, how you boys are?
They're loving the weather.
Y'all trying to get a suntan. Ain't you? That's why I used to run around barefooted.
Just putting it up in the car.
I may have to have a little push.
We'll push you.
All right, which way you want it at? Where you want it?
It doesn't. I'm gonna have to take it back to the back of the house anyway, so it doesn't really matter. Just
Get over how you doing, I guess.
yeah, right there.
That's gonna be fun, isn't
Right
it?
there's perfect.
Huh?
Right there's
It's gonna be
perfect.
fun to take it around there.
Yes.
800 pounds or to come apart?
I think it's in pieces.
Oh,
So-
I hope it is.
I hope it's in pieces. Yeah.
What do you do? Woodwork?
Yep. I have a YouTube channel, and this is a laser. So
All right. Well,
thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
You bet. Thank you.
All right, guys. So this is how it came to me. It's wrapped in the black plastic. It's got these do not stack things on top, so they don't stack other pallets on top. And it's about 800 pounds. So we're gonna get a knife, cut it open. We're gonna have to carry it piece by piece back to the shop. So let's take a look inside. So this is what the crate looks like. I think maybe we have a stand up top and the actual laser down below, but let's open this up and take a look. So this top part, this is the stand. It does come in pieces, so we can move this top part pretty easily. All right, so this stand comes in a few different pieces. The feet and the wheels are already attached. I'm gonna put that to the side. Inside there, we have two rails. And the bottom is the wall of the stand, and then we have some nuts and bolts that are flopping around in there. So if you come in over here, you can see compared to my black and yellow, we have a sticking out part here. That's because this is 100 watt and the laser tube is longer. So the laser tube is out here. So that's what this is for. So we keep cutting this black off. Huge top window. Back here is where the tube is. But now we got to pull it out of here, and I'm not quite sure how to do that without taking the crate all apart. So I'm going to figure that out. So here is the front of the laser. Do the first opening. So that's kind of what our laser looks like. Now I have some add-ons that are put in here. We have a rotary for sure. We'll check out what other add-ons we have, but this is what'll come. If you got any accessories and stuff, it'll be inside here. So now I've got to get some help. Some guys help me lift this up and take it back to the shop, which unfortunately is not an easy path. But we'll go ahead and move this, and then we'll set it up in the shop, at least on the stand, take a better look at what's going on in here. All right, so what I'm gonna do so I can lift this up and it's not as heavy is I'm gonna cut this plastic inside, and I'm gonna take everything that's inside into the shop first to just try to get this to be the least amount of weight that we have to carry. So we'll check out the accessories and stuff that came inside after we get this moved and set up. All right, we got the base assembled. It holds me up. It rolls around. It has some leveling feet. But once this is together, get yourself a whole bunch of helping hands, like I have, to lift it up because that laser is still about 700 pounds. So we're going to move it from my carport in the dark because it's the evening, and then we're going to stick it up on the stand. The feet theoretically should fit through these holes, but we'll see that when it gets here. So let's go lift it up.
2, 3.
All right, so we're lifting it off. We're bringing it inside, and I'm gonna roll this underneath. I got some shims under here so fingers can go down, and then we'll gently lift it up.
Good. Got it?
The skinniest one here. Up over the table sound good. Here, I can lower it down a little. Let me wait.
Well, I had to get it over the table.
All right, we're good.
And I was making up for the fact that I
Stepping in,
did nothing.
stepping in.
Okay, rock to his side. Oh,
Okay,
that works too.
come. Watch the shims.
Yep.
All right, less than the lower.
Okay.
We're doing it now.
Right
Great.
there.
Good.
Okay, you're good.
You down?
You're good.
I'm
You're
down.
down. You're down.
I'm
You're
down.
down.
I'm down.
That's good. Okay.
Is it lined up?
Yeah, I got yours.
He needs to come this way, and that way just.
Oh, geez.
Oh, never mind. This back, hold this back corner up, and I'll kind of. Okay, that corner. Yeah, this corner. You good? Okay, front corner. Oh, pretty close. Go ahead, drop it down.
Okay.
There it goes. There it goes.
That's it?
Yep. All right, this side. All right, go ahead and lift it up a little bit. Maybe help it again. To the front a little bit. Oh, there it is. There it is. That's it. That's it. Woo! Woo! All right, so we got it all set up. I will tell you, I did take the stuff inside out to move it, just to make it less heavy. So I put it all back in kind of the way it was. I got this box first. We're gonna open this up and see what's inside. So we have a bunch of things. Let me bring you in closer. So in that box, we have the tumbler roller. This is where we're going to do cups and such. So we can expand it out that way and this way. It has a hold down to keep the tumbler in place. And we can raise and lower this right here. So we'll take a look at that in greater detail. But this is the rotary. We'll dig into the stuff that's inside the laser. The door is very heavy, but the actuators work really well, hold it up really well. I love the viewing area that it has on this. There's no obstruction like the other laser. So the other things we have inside that came with the laser, with my laser, we have the air duct hose. That is a 6-inch air duct hose. And if you want to start opening that one, I will show off. This is the other style rotary. This is the Chuck style rotary. It'll grab items that are not perfectly round. So that's the Chuck style.
This is the collar, the adapter for the hose.
Yeah, that'll plug into the back to get the hose attached to the back of the machine for fan and exhaust. So the final thing I had was the third style rotary. This is more like the hot dog style rotary. I'll do a separate video on all three rotaries so you can see what and why they would be used. So that's the third thing I have. Final thing is the bucket of stuff. So we'll open that. It did come. So this bucket did come zipped over here so that the laser head wouldn't move around. I clipped those earlier. So this is the bucket. So what we have here is a set of goggles. Protect your eyes. So we have some eye protection. Although, if you wear glasses like me, that's not so awesome. Not terrible, but not so awesome.
In the box. What's in the box? There is a Chuck key.
And those are extra jaws for the rotary.
Oh, okay.
They're covered in machine oil so they don't rust on their way, but that is what those are for.
Got a blue network cable. Got a USB cable.
And this USB cable is a USB to a USB, so like two computers together. You'll use that to connect this machine to your computer, or an Ethernet cable to your computer, which is how I have it now.
Air hose?
That's an air hose. This is an air hose for the air compressor to get your air assist. So that's what that is.
Power cord.
This is a standard computer style power cord for the US.
Allen keys.
Wonderful. We always need a set of Allen keys, so that's
Absolutely.
perfect.
This is...
We have a set of lenses. So
what's in
this,
here?
yeah, that's what's in here.
Oh,
this
it's taped
lens
shut. Okay.
is 18 millimeter, and the focal length is 38.1 millimeter. And over here, this focal length is 50.8 millimeter. You'll use these for different depths. That's a separate video, but changing out the lens, I got two lenses here. I don't know what lens is in there necessarily. Let's see. There's a lens in here. And there is a lens in here. So I got two extra lenses.
Lens wipes. I don't know if that's for the glasses or the actual lenses.
This is for the actual lenses.
All right. USB stick and safety keys.
Yep. So we have a key on the side of the machine that we need to turn to make it operate. So that's what these are. And a USB stick. We have some extra mirrors when we need to replace the mirrors for the laser. So hopefully we won't have to do that for a while. Yep, we have some keys for the access panels. These pins are pins that go to our autofocus. So if we damage them of any kind, we have extra pins. We have a focusing gauge. We have a few of those. We have a speed and power kind of gauge. And then just the extra screws and, I don't know, some balls in there.
Yeah, bearings.
Bearings. These are some extra parts in there. So that's what's in there. That's all that came in that box. So let's go over the features of the laser. The last thing wrapped in plastic is our bed. This is our honeycomb bed. So we're going to want to take that out. So we'll just lower the front. And then we're going to slide out the honeycomb. What I like about this machine is that the honeycomb really doesn't have anywhere to slide. You stick it in and it can't move. So it's always set to the same point. So we're going to take off this plastic wrap. And if Brian, you'll check out the things that are underneath there and describe them and such.
There's a grating underneath the honeycomb. They're removable bars that are sharp on top, but, you know, just to limit the contact with the honeycomb on top of it. We're told the bed itself is motorized in the Z-axis direction, so you can raise and lower it without having to turn a knob constantly or hook a drill up to the knob in order to raise or lower it. There's a electrical hose connector over on this side. There is a row of LEDs on both sides for interior illumination, which will be nice.
This electrical over here, that is a separate port for the rotary. Some machines, like the black and yellow, you can see over in this corner, I have to disconnect the Y-axis to hook up the rotary. This one I don't have to disconnect at all. It has its own port for the rotary. If you check out underneath here, you'll see that the venting is below. And on the black and yellow, I have a vent over on the side. And on this one, the vent is actually right in the center underneath this bed to suck it straight down. Whether that's better or worse is yet to be seen, but that is different than what I have previous. Okay, you can see kind of in here, there is our ducting right here. Over here is the motor for the motorized bed to go up and down. And then over here, we have a limit switch, so the bed will go all the way down and touch that limit switch and know how far down it can go. All right, we took off. Oh my!
It's a little heavier than
heavier.
the other one.
All right, we took off the plastic wrap on the honeycomb, so we're just going to slide it back into place. Slides right in, right like that. And then we'll close the front door. And now our laser is empty. There's nothing keeping it from being used. I don't have anything in plastic wrap. We do have another zip tie over here. And that was the last zip tie keeping the Y gantry from moving back and forth. So now it can move freely. I'm going to move it just a tad just to make sure nothing's in the way. Move this back and forth, nothing's in the way there. So let's go ahead and take a look at the front, side, and back of the machine. All right, so first things first, we have the door, the main door. Nice thing about this door and the glass is there's no obstruction in any way to see what you are lasering. Love that feature, really nice. The handle is kind of small, which is nice so I don't get caught by it when I'm walking by it or rubbing against it, but when I want to grab it, I don't really have much of a handle to grab, but it operates as a handle. This one came with the Lightburn camera installed. It is pre-installed right up in here, so you can see that. I think it's a must feature. I love it. I use it every day on my other laser, so I foresee using it on this one. If yours doesn't come with that, buy a Lightburn camera. I sell a file for the holder on my Etsy. You can check that out. I'll leave a link in the description below. So inside, what's really nice is we have, like we said earlier, LEDs stripping both sides. That's more lights than I've had on my other machine. Really lights it up. We have a large work area. It is 900 by 600. Is that right? 900 by 600. We have the autofocus pin right here. We'll have yet to see if that is worth its salt because I have a machine that doesn't autofocus and I'm very excited to autofocus things. Let's see, down below, I believe I put the stand backwards, but I did that on purpose because this is a lot of usable space that I can store stuff underneath. And if we flipped it around where it was just black on the front, which looks nice, it kind of ruins your space saving in shop, especially in my current shop that's only 16 by 20. I need every ounce of space I need. So you will definitely want to flip this around if you're looking for space. I noticed that on a mom with a laser. If you check her out, she's got an Instagram, YouTube, and very active Facebook. I'll put links for her down below, but that's where I saw this idea, just flipping it around, and I can already tell that's what I want to do. So on the front left of it, we have a Wi-Fi acrylic piece. It's probably where the antenna is, so the Wi-Fi can get out through there. You can connect this to Wi-Fi. I'm a Wi-Fi guy. I have Wi-Fi everywhere, so I will be using Wi-Fi for sure. And currently I use the LAN cable. If I don't use the LAN, I'll use the Wi-Fi. Let's go around on the left side. Check that out. All right, so I'm taking the key and we're opening this door. And that panel comes off. And this helps you assist any adjustments we need to use to the lens over here. So that's just an easy access panel. So we'll put that back in and we'll close it again with that key that we had earlier. You just spin it like that, it saves it. So let's check out this access panel, what we have in here. Oops, I think I locked it. There we go. All right, this access panel has a lot of the brains of our machine. We have two power supplies right here. One is for the laser beam itself, and the other one is for all the rest of the mechanics. This is really cool. I like this. It already has a milliamp gauge on it, although I would like to be able to see that from the outside. I added one of these to my other laser, but we can see the milliamps of the actual laser lasering. So this is a laser control board. And then over here, we have some more electronics. You can see our air assist is built into the machine right here, which is a nice feature. Everything's built in and compact, nothing outside of this machine. Some more plugs that I don't know what they do, but that's kind of a look of the inside. Down here we have a power supply, and in the front here, the little Wi-Fi thing that was going out here, we got a LAN cable to it, so that must be our Wi-Fi adapter right there, putting out the Wi-Fi to connect to it. So let's just close this panel up and then we'll take a look around the back. All right, we're on the back of the machine. Here's where we can check some stuff out. We do have some tape still on the machine, so let's just remove that. And we have a sticker over the monitor of the cooler. This is super nice. The chiller is actually built in to the machine. It's not a separate purchase, and it's not a separate area that you have to put on the floor. Built in. Love it. I don't love that the control panel is on the back of the machine because, boy, we hope it's on and we hope it's working right. But hopefully there's an audible sound when things aren't flowing. So right here, we're going to add our water. We have our water amount right here, and we have our drain pipe. Chiller has its own fan. Here's where the exhaust fan is. That little piece will go in here to attach our hose. But let's go ahead and open this up, take a little better look. Have our power supply. I think this is a grounding, but I'm not 100% sure. We'll check that out later. So here is the inside. Here's where the air pump is. Here is the exhaust fan right here. And that's pretty much the only thing behind this panel. Again, we have our chiller. We have our settings for the chiller. So we don't need to worry about that. Over here, we have a network LAN cable. And then we have another place to put air assist. I don't know why there's two. Maybe if we want to get a bigger one, more powerful one, we connect it here. We'll have to look into that a little bit later. But that's what's in this plug. You can see up here, we got our sticker, working area, rated power is 1300 watts. This is a one-phase, 110 volt, and so you don't have to worry about 220. Laser power is 900 watts, and the manufacturing date. So let's check out the actual laser tube. So I'm pretty excited to check out the tube. So we just open up this, and here is the power. This is what makes the laser a laser. This is the glass tube. Nice thing about these machines is they use the greatest brand you can get in a tube, which is Reese. These guys know what they're doing with tubes. We can see that channel A is 102.3 watts. We have the graph showing us what's actually going on in here. The testing, how many watt, peak power is 102 watts. Social right here. So everything we need, boom, right here. Our laser's going out to the first mirror down here and then shooting through this hole up to the rest of the machine. So that's what's going on in here. Remember, this is a longer tube, so my hand actually stops right about here. So there have been some aftermarket covers if your laser doesn't protrude all the way out like mine doesn't. If you get a bigger laser, you're going to have a longer tube. So if you upgrade later, you're going to need this extra casing. So that is what is going on with this. So when you measure this for your house, don't forget the protruding metal part over on the side for the laser. So that is inside the laser housing. And then finally, we'll check out this next side. All right, this is the final side. We still have some more tape holding some things down. So let's just quickly take that off. First thing we'll check out up here. This is the control panel for the machine. This is a Rowita control panel. That's what we want in a laser. It has a protective film we'll just take off, so satisfying. We have all of the controls and the buttons right here. And when we turn it on, we'll go over that later. On the side of this, we have our emergency stop button here. And if you turn on your laser right now, it is probably engaged. They send it pressed in from the factory. So make sure that you turn that and it's popped out. Out means we're going to be able to use it. If we have an oh crap moment, we hit it in there and it kills all power. So make sure that that is depressed when you're ready to use this laser. Power, we have our key. So we don't want to lose that key, but we're going to stick it in and turn it on. We have to have the key turned to the on position to be able to actually use the laser. So those are our two safeties, making it a certain higher class. That changes the class of the laser, the more safeties you have. Below that, we have our blower switch that turns on the air compressor. Below that, we have a U-disc. U-disc, I believe, is when you're going to connect from USB to a computer. USB is the little USB right here if we run files off a USB. I don't do that. I run it straight from a computer to the machine because I don't want to get out of my chair. I'm lazy. And then we'll take off the panel on this side. We'll take a look at what is inside here. So here is some more brains of the operation. So right here is our Ruida controller. This matches up with the controller up top. This is the RDC6442S-B. This has all the settings for how the controller is going to move. Then we have a driver for the X, the Y, and the Z axis. We have some switches right here, electrical. The wires coming out over here are just going to USB. We have our Wi-Fi antenna right here. So that's interesting. There's our Wi-Fi antenna. Right here, this is going to be our air compressor regulator, I believe, coming from the back. Not sure what this wire is going to. We'll check that out later. Right here, this is our chiller. This is where the power to it is, and some more connections. So that's what's going on over on this side. If you don't know what you're doing, don't open the panel and don't mess with it. So we'll put that panel back. This panel is most likely going to mirror the other side where it is basically just access to our drag chain, our motor, and such right here. So that's all that is. It's just a maintenance access panel when we need to fix up the motor and make things work. So that is an overview of the machine. We've seen all the parts of the machine. Now the next thing we need to do is fill that chiller with some distilled water before we turn anything on, and make sure that the laser is full of water, nice and cool, before we do anything next. So let's fill up the chiller. Okay, so we're gonna fill the chiller up to full. We're not gonna go all the way up to full. We're gonna get into the yellow area of full, because if there's any like overflow or anything, we would need it to have some reserve tank. So what we're gonna do is take off this little cap. It has a lot more thread.
And take off the cap, and take off the cap.
We're gonna take the cap off. Now we need a funnel, and we're gonna use a piece of glossy cardboard paper.
Out of all the stuff in this shop, you do not
have.
have an actual funnel.
So Brian's just gonna make a funnel out of it there.
Okay. All right.
Pretty much like that.
Yep.
And then I have some distilled water right here. Make sure it's distilled. We don't want fungus growing in there. And I'm going to go ahead and pour it. And we're gonna see how many gallons it takes. I believe it's about 1.5. So I'm gonna just start pouring. And if you'll keep an eye on the fill, because I can't see it.
Nothing yet. All right, starting to rise into the red. Starting to rise into the green. About halfway through the green now. Going to the top of the green. Yellow, you're spilling some. All right.
Still a little bit more.
Okay. It's leaking now.
Okay, well, that's about as far as we're gonna go. So we used about 0.9 of the 90% of 1 gallon. So don't buy 2 gallons like I did. And we filled it up. We leaked a little bit out of our homemade funnel, but it was free and it was here. So we're okay with that. And we're just gonna put the cap back on immediately. And you can see right here, the full bar is right to here. That's about where you want it, because if we start the process and everything's moving around and kicking, we want it to go, we need it to have a place to actually go. We don't go all the way to the top. So go right there. All right, the next step we have, and we're gonna stay at the back of the machine, is to turn the machine on to get this chiller pumping the water through. We wanna make sure that everything stays in the laser. We don't have leaks or anything like that. So we're gonna stay at the back of the machine. So I'm gonna get the power cord and we'll plug it in. All right, here we go. I'm plugging this in to the machine. I'm going to go around, and on the side, remember, I'm going to depress the button. I'm going to turn the key to on, and then I'm going to press the power button. I don't know where the power button is. There isn't a power button. Whoa!
Found it.
You turn the key up. That turns on the machine.
Ignition.
We have ignition. You can hear it beeped. We have numbers on our chiller. We see the water went all through the tube. It's flowing really nicely. I don't see any leaks outside on this side. And I saw some movement of these gears. So we're going to go around inside, just get a quick look, make sure inside is not leaking anything. You can hear the chiller just kicked on to the refrigerated mode because we want to get it down to 19 degrees. It's set at 19 and we're actually at 20.2 Celsius. So it's going to lower that water temperature. Also, you can see after we kicked it on, we're just at the normal / full line. So we are going to fill it up with 1 full gallon, I believe. So double check that after you turn it on. We're going to fill this up at a little bit more. Once you turn that on, it fills up the actual tube up here that it didn't fill up earlier. So we're not in the full line. So we're going to turn the machine off. We're going to take this back off here. We're going to get our funnel once more.
Dig the funnel back out of the trash.
Make sure it's clean of debris.
Sure.
Sure. We'll go ahead and fill it up with the remainder, possibly the remainder of a gallon.
All right, it's into full and it's leaking.
Full and a half. So we're still not at a gallon.
Not quite a gallon.
We used a little bit left. We have about this much left of our distilled water. So we'll turn on the machine one more time and triple check that we are still good with our water levels and we have no leaks. That's number one. We want to do that before we put this into place. We want to make sure that everything is 100%. Let me turn the key. Turns it on. Chiller's back on. The water is flowing. And we're still at where we just last pumped it up to. So we have enough in there now. We're good. We're set. I'm not seeing any water come out of the tube. The tube hasn't busted. I'm not seeing any leaks or drips. And I'm also not seeing any bubbles in the tube. We don't want any bubbles in there. We wanted a solid water. So that is looking good. So now we're going to go into the laser. Let's go ahead and look inside the laser, make sure there's nothing leaking on the inside. All right, we opened it up. We're taking a look inside. We don't see anything out of the ordinary. I'm not seeing any water anywhere. I'm looking underneath, making sure I see any water under there. Seeing nothing. So that's great news. You can see our LEDs are lit up from the sides. It is very bright. I wish they put an LED along the back. That would give it a little bit more, but still, I like them. They're built into this metal casing, which is pretty nice. So it looks like it homes to the back right. That's when you turn it on and moved. So let's go ahead and try jogging it.
Oh, that's smooth.
Oh, it is very, very smooth. You can see we jogged it there. If we hit escape, the red button, it moves it back to its starting position. That's where it wants to start. So that's fantastic. Let's take a look at the jogging commands. Okay, so here is the controls. We have forward, back, left, and right. Then we have escape, makes us go back to the home. We have pulse, we can actually fire the laser. We can change speed, max power, min power, reset everything. We can frame our cutting area. Origin will take us to our user origin we set, and the start pause starts our cutting and pauses our cutting. So that's about it. It tells us if you're used to any laser with a Ruida, it's got the exact same screen. It just tells us our file. It'll show us what file we're actually cutting. I have nothing loaded at this point, and how, you know, count stuff such like that. So this is very standard for what you're used to. Okay, so if we want the bed to go up and down, and I'm going to zoom out a little bit so you can kind of see at the same time. Here's my bed right here. We push this ZU. It's stuck on Z right now, and if I push left, it's going up, and if I push right, it's going down. I do not have that on my other laser, and this is a beautiful feature, because right now I'm having to attach a drill to a lead screw and spin it every time. So when we're done going up and down with that, we hit escape, and then the left and right go back to the actual laser head. You can see it's moving right, left, forward, and backwards. And then if we hit escape, we're back to the corner. So that's a brief overview of this. Works as expected. If we want to move up and down with the table, we just hit this button, and then left and right to move the table up and down, and then hit escape to move everything else correctly. So that's a brief overview of this. And it is freaking fast.
You put 1,000.
Apparently I didn't go fast enough. This is unbelievably fast.
Doing one letter at a time.
It is.
That is unreal.
I joined that mom with a laser group. Check that out, link in the description below. They already have a Mira 9 like settings guide starting. I will have my own. I'll put it up on my Myers Woodshop blog when I start cutting things and figuring out optimal settings. But I'm going to start with those settings. 10 speed, 85% power cut. I have no idea how to turn on the air assist. I'm thinking it may be digital. So this is our first try with that before I actually had to plug it in and turn it on my other laser. This one may be controlled by the laser and the software. So we're going to try and check that out. So I'm going to go ahead and try to cut a simple circle, and we'll see how it goes. We did end up connecting it via a LAN cable, just temporary setup for now, because I couldn't figure out the Wi-Fi that is built into this. I don't think the Wi-Fi is quite the same Wi-Fi as we're used to. I'm not connecting to the router and then being able to connect in my shop. I think it's a direct connection, which is not really what I want to use. So we connected it through the LAN for now, the same way my black and yellow is connected, which works perfectly. So we're going to send a file over the network and cut that circle out. So let's see what happens. Okay, so you can see I am framing out the circle. When I hit this, it'll show me where it's going to cut. And if I hit the circle on frame in Lightburn, it'll actually frame out exactly where that circle is. So we're on wood. We're going to give it a try. So I should just be able to hit start and go. One thing I need to remember to do is this blower switch right here is turning on the fan extraction. I'm in my shop right now. I have about 10 days till I move to a new house, maybe shorter. So I'm not connecting this to outside. This is just a temporary thing. So I'll connect the blower. I'll just blow it in my shop for now. You'll blow it out the wall and we'll cut this out. So this is the blower. I'm not sure if it comes across. It's not super loud. It's not super quiet. It's definitely more quiet than the blower that came with my black and yellow and built in. So that's a plus. But if you have this in your house and you want to run this and then do other things in the house, this is still going to be too loud for your house. So there are some inline fans. I'll leave a link in the description below that I'm using for my black and yellow if you want to forego using the blower that's built in. Well, something different about this laser that I didn't know. I keep trying to send a signal to make this fire and it keeps saying this. Machine protected. Work paused. what does that mean? So I think I figured it out. As you can see, I'm trying to work with the door open, and a safety feature is not letting it fire with the door open. So I looked around, and I think in this corner, way over here, you see that little brown thing right here? That's a proximity switch that lets you know that this door is closed, so it won't fire without the door closed. I fire a lot without the door closed because I film a lot of things. So for right now, we're going to close the door and see if that actually makes a difference in firing the laser. So now my door is closed. I think the proximity sensor is happy, and we're going to fire the laser. I'm going to try to get it to where you can actually see it go without all of the lights kind of screwing up the shot. This is why I like to fire without. You can see my hands are covering up the reflection of my lights in the sky. So, oh well, we're going to start with it like this so you can see, and hopefully it'll actually cut. So here we go. Turn on the fan and hit start. And we're actually cutting, so it did make a difference. We're cutting pretty good. And done. One pass. All right, so we'll open up the machine. Go ahead and use the pad to jog it back, see if it fell out. And that is a beautiful cut. Perfect cut. 1/4 inch. And we got our first burn mark on our brand new bed. But that was a perfect cut in one pass with a 1/4 inch. Loving it so far. First try, first cut, perfection. So what I'm going to do strictly for filming purposes is I'm going to trick this sensor up here to thinking the door is closed, so we can get a little bit more better filming for you guys to see if it actually cuts. I also am not totally sure that the air compressor is kicking in, so I'm going to run it without a fan sucking out the air to make sure that the air is turning on. That's something different in this laser. I think it's controlled by the software. I'm not sure, but those are the two things I'm going to do differently in this video, and see if the air is working and make sure everything is functioning properly. Okay, so I'm going to take the simple Allen wrench, the fattest one that came with this machine, and I'm just going to simply place it right there, covering up the switch, and we're going to see if that works good enough to keep the door open. Again, I'm not running this with the extraction fan on because I want to hear and see visually better see it cut, so you can see it cut better without reflections, and I want to hear the air assist pumping out of that because I really can't hear that with the can't hear anything with the extraction fan going on. So this is for testing purposes, making sure the air kicks on. So let's check it out. Okay, so here we go. I'm going to hit start. We're going to hear the sound of the air compressor kick in, make sure that the air is pumping through there. I did hear it kick on. We know for certain it's doing air. It's actually very quiet, the air compressor. It's cutting perfectly, and our trick worked. The door is open, and we cut a perfect circle. Let's move it back. Lift up. You can see the smoke rising, but there's our perfect circle we cut out. So we got a bunch of smoke because I didn't extract it. Let's see how good the extractor does. Now again, I'm recirculating it in here, but it sucked all of this area really fast. So the fan is doing a pretty good job. Okay, so if you are using this machine, do not run it without the extractor pulling air out. The main reason is because you don't want all that smoke to go back up into the lens and coat it with dirtiness. Actually, all of the lenses, it could do it. So you want to make sure your extracting fan is absolutely on, making sure that our optics are very clean. So we have these weird acrylic things in here, and if you're not used to a laser, you won't know what they are. They look like targets for a gun. What they actually are targets for the laser beam. These are focusing making sure our mirrors are aligned. I'm not going to go over that in this video. One, because that's just a video in itself, and Mira already has a really good spec sheet of how to do that. And two, because I'm literally moving this machine a second time to my new shop in about 5 to 10 days. So they're going to be out of alignment in 5 to 10 days, and I only want to do that once. So when you first get your machine, go ahead and make sure that the mirrors are aligned. That's going to be really important for proper cutting. But you can see how aligned and well my machine is working without even doing that step at all. I literally turned it on, cut it, and ran a cut file. So that's where I'm at with this machine. But if you're at home, use these focusing and aligning guides. All right, so what we've been using is this 1/4 inch plywood. Cut really well, really easy. I have no idea what we can cut with this since it's 100 watt and I'm used to a 60. So I got a 1/2 inch plywood here. I have no settings for this, but we're gonna give it a go. See if we can cut a circle. So we're just going big and loud and fast right from the beginning. So I need to recalibrate the 0 on this. So I'm gonna come over here to the panel. I'm gonna click on the ZU. I'm gonna go Z move. And I gotta hit enter on that. I'm gonna scoot it down. So you can see the bed just now moved down like that. So I can get under this piece and then we'll go ahead and recalibrate. So I will go back out of the Z move. I'll move it to where it's over the piece of wood. I'll go back into ZU and I will go down to autofocus. You can see it's gonna focus it on its own. And now we're autofocused. So let's give it a try. I'm gonna try to just cut out a circle, see what it does, see how close we get. And these are just settings as a shot in the dark. All right, these are the settings. I'm going half as fast as I went to cut these at the same power, 85. So I'm gonna turn on the extraction fan and we'll see if we can cut through this piece of wood in one pass. All right, I'm gonna scoot this back. I'm pretty sure we didn't because I saw a lot of smoke up top. Usually if it cuts all the way through, you'll see smoke down below. I've lifted up and hit it. No, we're not even close. Oh, wait, actually, if I flip up the backside, we're almost close. You could see it went all the way through here. I lied. We just cut through 1/4 inch material, 1/2 inch material. Amazingly, in one pass with this laser. That is huge. My 60 watt could not cut this in multiple passes. That's amazing. All right, so our experiment is, this was really charred on the outside. I mean, close to bursting into flames. So we're gonna lower the power from 85 to 70, but drop the speed from 5 to 4 and see if that makes any type of difference cutting this out. Let's give it a shot. All right, remove this back. We hope we didn't start a fire. No, there's a lot of smoke though. We did not get as through as we did with the other settings. So we're gonna play with the settings. Just know that we can cut 1/4 inch material, which is 1/2" material, 1/4" is cake, which is amazing. An 1/8" is going to be even easier. Now with my 60 watt in the background, this 1/4" material was about as big as I can go. 1/2" material was a dream, never happened. So we are stepping up a full sheet good size, which is amazing. 100 watt is getting us there. So that's pretty awesome. We just need to dial in the settings. So far we have everything going really well. So far it's performing beautifully. Now we're gonna test engraving settings. So let's see how well it'll engrave, see if we can dial it in, how fast we can get engraving going. That's really where this thing should excel. Aeon is known for speed, so let's see how fast we could actually go and it turn out well. All right, we're going back to the 1/4" birch. I'm gonna bring it forward. Since we changed our size, we need to go back to autofocus. So I'm gonna hit enter. It's gonna autofocus itself. And bring it back down. So we're now in focus. So I'm gonna rearrange what we need to do and start engraving. Okay, so what I've got, I'm gonna frame out. That's about the size we're gonna go. This will take an estimated 3 minutes and 29 seconds to engrave. I am going to turn off air assist because we're engraving. We don't want the air to blow down on it. I'll turn the fan on and we'll go ahead and start the engrave. All right, you can check out the quality of the engrave. It is fantastic. Holy moly. It is gorgeous. It is smooth. It actually took out the top layer right here. You can feel there's an inside bit. Even this little strip right here is like basically a hair, and it is perfect. The engraving was fast, quick, and amazing. That took 3 minutes. Okay, so what we decided to do is offset this, put a little circle on the top, and we're gonna cut this out as kind of like a keychain. So I'm gonna turn on the fan, and we're gonna cut it out. All right, I'm gonna jog this up. I'm gonna lift this up. You can see it pops right out. And you can see now we have a keychain. And he's pretty awesome with a little hole up there so we can hang it, or you have an ornament. That was a quick, easy job on this laser, and I've used it 4 or 5 times now. So far, perfect. All right, so we're gonna cut out a shape for a baby birthing calendar type. We designed this by Fiery Squirrel Art. I'll leave a link in the description for him. You can check out his channel. He designed this. So it's going to be a hexagonal type, and it's going to engrave first and then immediately go ahead and cut the shape. So I'm going to leave the door open. Again, I have the Allen key in front of the proximity switch so the safety is off. Don't do this at home. Make sure your screen is down when you do this. But I'm gonna hit go after I hit the fan. It's gonna be pretty loud for those on Instagram because that's gonna extract the air. But here we go. And this is real-time engraving. You're good. So like I said, this is engraving at 400 millimeters a second. Typically on the other laser, I can hit 100, 150, 200 is pushing it. So this is at least twice as fast. And the quality of the engrave is just as good. So this job, let me see, this job, Lightburn is telling me it's going to take 2 minutes and 55 seconds. So you can see it's capturing that really well. The power I'm engraving at, this is 30% power for the engrave. It's 400 millimeters a second speed, 30 power. And if you check out the milliamp over here, which is crazy, it shows we're hitting 1 to 2 milliamps out of this thing. And it probably can hit, I don't know, 25, 30 milliamps is maxing it out. So using very little power compared to what we could be. Now we're cutting. And at cutting, we're doing 10 millimeters a second speed and 85% power. This is just a setting I found online for the first test. It worked, and it's cutting beautifully. So the air assist did cut on for the cutting part and not the engraving part. So that's it, we're finished. I'm going to turn the air extraction off, scoot it back. I'm going to lift up our piece, cut perfectly. Still a little on fire, essentially. But there is the first piece we finished. So I think our power is a little hot because we got a lot of charring on the ends. So we're gonna have to mess with the speed and power as we go. But for right now, we're getting a perfect engrave and cut. So if you zoom in on that, it looks really, really, really nice. These are first cuts. I literally have done 1, 2, 3, 4 cuts, not messing with any speed or power. So that is the unboxing and first, second, and third, or fourth use of the Aeon Mira 9. Brian, what'd you think about this?
I think it's fast, it's precise, it's got features that I absolutely love. The bed up and down, the auto calibration, lots of nice stuff.
Lots of nice stuff. The quality build, or the build quality of it is really nice. Yeah. What are some of the things that you like about this laser? I
mean, I love that I have a larger bed to work with. I used to have to saw down big boards. This one is going to be easier to handle in fewer pieces, so I'm all about the workspace. I like how if you buy the stand, it does raise this laser up higher. It's right where it should be.
Yeah, you're not bending down and crouching down to see what's going on. They do have 2 LED strips on either side. That illuminates it pretty well. I do wish, I don't know if this is even possible, but I do wish there was an LED strip like under the X gantry.
That'd be
that
cool.
Would light, or maybe even along the back as well. That would light it up a little bit more, but the lighting up is pretty good. I like the big full mirror, and there's no like cross beams across it. Right. So you put it down and it works. I really like that. Yeah. One thing I think will confuse you during production.
Well, there's probably several things.
Well, one thing I think is going to be remembering how to autofocus.
Oh, yeah.
I love the autofocus. I think that's an awesome feature, but I guarantee you're going to forget about it, and you're just going to plow right into something.
I mean, you're probably
it's an extra button push.
Right, and I'll learn from my mistakes, but with all the other things that I don't have to worry about anymore, I think I can cope with that.
So that will seem to be if you're new to lasering, I think that would be like on the checklist of things, remembering to autofocus via this panel. Before you start lasering. I will probably forget too when I switch out between thicker materials.
We'll learn.
But and another thing that you will probably forget is turning on the extraction fan because you have to push a button over here.
Oh, yeah.
So the button, I don't know, the button's kind of in a weird, not a bad place, just in a weird place that's not in front of you when you're operating to remember to
Then
push
I
the
will
button.
probably forget if it's not right here in my
Yeah.
face, yeah.
And I think maybe the third thing is because we don't have a power button for the air assist,
Yep.
you have to make sure that that is checked
It's a digital air assist.
on or off.
Probably in light burn is what we're
Yeah,
using.
I guarantee you we'll forget
Yeah.
to select that because we've not been using that
Nope.
for any other machine that we have. So just remember to check on and off. It's really nice. It's a really nice feature to have, but it's one that will easily be forgotten until you start cutting and say, oh crap, I forgot to turn it
That's
on.
a lot of smoke.
Yes. So I like all those features. Man, this is what is amazing.
Money.
It's
a half-inch.
half-inch plywood cut straight through in one pass.
One pass, a little bit charred, but I mean, one pass to
Again,
cut half-inch is
this whole
amazing.
video that we did, we have yet to dial in any of the numbers.
Yeah.
We went straight off of someone's suggestions, which are usually pretty decent, but not close to what we end up
There's some tuning
using.
to do.
But yeah, that's a game changer. Cutting
is.
through a half-inch piece
Absolutely.
of plywood is amazing. So one of the other nice features about this machine is that the air assist, the extraction fan, and the chiller all come as one
absolutely.
package in the machine.
Integrated inside.
There's no things all around
No.
and taking up more space than actual laser.
And there's
itself.
even a milliamp reader, although it's kind of obstructed on the side,
hidden.
but I mean, it's still there. This thing has a lot of features built into it that a lot of lasers don't have.
Yeah, and it's all in a nice tucked-in package.
Yep.
And I know that when I turn on the machine, we're safe because Aeon Laser US took the laser, ripped out all the wiring, and brought it up to code to the United States standards that a lot of countries don't have. So that is a nice, like, inner safety feeling about my shop not burning to the ground.
Definitely reach your zen of peace
Yes.
with that knowledge.
So that's nice that someone with better eyes and more knowledgeable eyes than me have looked at this machine and made sure that it's perfect. So, yeah. So we got good engraves, good cuts, impressive speed,
Very fast.
and a nice, tidy, quality built package.
That's what she said.
So that is the Aeon Mira 9 laser. Again, I was given this by Aeon to show you guys this machine, but I think one of the things I really want to show off is the difference between this Aeon that we have and the black and yellow OM Tech that we've been using for the last year, 2 years.
Which we like.
Love that machine. The
Love
machine
it.
has made us tons of money,
Yep.
has done a lot of production, but we're going to see if this thing can live up to the test of its higher price range compared to the other OM Tech in the next video. So make sure to look for that on my YouTube channel. It'll be the OM Tech versus the Aeon Mira 9. I fully expect this thing to perform better. And being
It's bigger, it's got more power.
I don't know how many times the price, $10,000
little bit more expensive.
A little bit more expensive.
Just a little.
It better freaking be better.
Yeah.
So we'll check that out in the next video. If you're interested in that, hit that subscribe button down below and click the ring bell so you know when that video comes out. If this helped you at all, click a thumbs up. Leave any comments you have down below. I'll try to answer them if you have anything we haven't gone over this Mira 9. And we will see you in the next video.
See you later.
Happy lasering. All right, so we got the base assembled. It rolls around. It lifts me off the ground. You got to get yourself a whole bunch of girls. Let me start that over. Last thing in practice. What is this? Just what do you think? So that is kind of the unboxing and first use of this Mira 9. Always want to say Aeon. Also, something.
What are you talking about?